Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Aguilar, Baumgardner, Cook, Coram, Court,
Absent.
Crowder, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Garcia, Gardner, Guzman, Hill, Holbert, John, Jones, Kagan, Kafalis, Kerr, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Martinez-Humenic, Merrifield, Moreno, Neville, Priola, Scott,
Excused.
Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Tate, Todd, Williams, Zinzinger, Court,
He's out.
Mr. President.
Here. With 34 present, 0 absent, 1 excused, we have a quorum. Senator Fields, would you please come and lead us in the pledge?
Good morning, Mr. President and colleagues. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the journal, Senator Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the reading of the journal of Friday, January 19th, 2018 be dispensed with and that the journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Right to it. Second reading consent calendar, Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the purpose of general order second reading of bills consent calendar.
The motion before the body is to resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the general order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the general order second reading of bills consent calendar. Senator Hill will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move all the bills on the general order second reading of bills consent calendar consisting of Senate Bill 36 and the Judiciary Committee report, Senate Bill 35 and the Judiciary Committee report, Senate Bill 34 and the Judiciary Committee report, Senate Bill 32 and the Judiciary Committee report, and Senate Bill 30 and its Judiciary Committee report.
Thank you, Majority Leader Holbert. I messed that up. Mr. Clerk, will you please read the titles to all the bills on general order second reading of bills consent calendar?
Senate Bill 36 by Senator Kagan, Representative Wisk, concerning non-substantive relocation of laws related to the regulation of tobacco sales to minors from Title 24 Colorado Revised Statutes to a new Title 44 as part of the organizational recodification of Title 12. Senate Bill 35 by Senators Gardner and Cook and Representative Wisk, concerning non-substantive relocation of laws related to gambling payment intercepts from Title 24 Colorado Revised Statutes to a new Title 44 as part of the organizational recodification of Title 12. Senate Bill 34 by Senators Cook and Guzman and Representatives Wisk and Lee, concerning the non-substantive relocation of laws related to the regulation of gaming from Title 12 Colorado Revised Statutes to a new Title 44 as part of the organizational recodification of Title 12. Senate Bill 32 by Senators Gardner and Cook and Representatives Foote and Harrod, concerning the non-substantive relocation of laws from Title 12 Colorado Revised Statutes as part of the organizational recodification of Title 12. Senate Bill 30 by Senators Holbert and Kagan and Representatives Foote and Willett, concerning the non-substantive relocation of laws related to self-propelled vehicles from Title 12 Colorado Revised Statutes as part of the organizational recodification of Title 12.
Majority Leader Holbert, my apologies.
Not a problem, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I move Senate Bill 36, 35, 34, 32, and Senate Bill 30, along with a Judiciary Committee report for each of those 5 bills.
Colleagues, you've heard the motion. The motion is all the bills on second reading of bills consent calendar along with the Judiciary Committee reports. All those in favor say aye.
Any discussion
Colleagues, my apologies. Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports for any of the bills? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the committee reports. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee reports are adopted. To the bills on consent calendar, is there any discussion for any of the bills on consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all of the bills, Senate Bill 36, 35, 34, 32, and 30 on the consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills are adopted. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Colleagues, the motion is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We will rise and report.
Senate will come back to order. Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee has met, and we had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee will hold basic reports had under consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 36 is amended, Senate Bill 35 is amended, Senate Bill 34 is amended, Senate Bill 32 is amended, Senate Bill 30 is amended, passed on second read, order engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is for the adoption of the report to the Committee of the Whole. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 36 is amended, Senate Bill 35 is amended, Senate Bill 34 is amended, Senate Bill 32 is amended, Senate Bill 30 is amended, passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General Order, second reading of bills. Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the purpose of General Order's second reading of bills.
The motion for the body is to resolve itself to the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the General Order's second reading of bills calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the General Order's second reading of bills calendar, and Senator Hill will take the chair.
Hey, Jim.
The committee will come to order. Majority Leader Holbert. That's a great suggestion. Mr. Carpenter, once again, will you please read the title to both bills on General Order, or to Senate Bill 20?
Senate Bill 20 by Senator Garcia concerning mental health care professionals who are permitted to perform auricular acudetox.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to lay over Senate Bill 20 until Tuesday, January 23rd, at the sponsor's request.
Colleagues, the motion is to lay over Senate Bill 20 until tomorrow, Tuesday, January 23rd. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We will lay over Senate Bill 20 until tomorrow, January 23rd. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read the title to Senate Bill 50?
Senate Bill 50 by Senator Smallwood and Representative Coleman concerning including staff of freestanding emergency facilities as part of Colorado's safe haven laws.
Senator Smallwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 50 and the Health and Human Services Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the committee report, we had to make some changes regarding the definition of freestanding emergency room. We also have an amendment that we're going to be introducing today that we'd ask for your support on.
Colleagues, is there any further discussion on the committee report? Senator Kafalis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L003, an amendment to the committee report.
Senator Kafalis, so we're going to adopt the committee report first and then the amendments. Colleagues, the motion before the body, just to be clear, is there any more discussion on the committee report? So the motion before the body right now is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report is adopted. There is an amendment on the desk. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read Amendment 3?
Amendment
Senator
L003.
Kafalis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the opportunity for a do-over. I move Amendment L003 to Senate Bill 50, the Health and Human Services Committee report.
Senator Kafalis, will you go over the amendment, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, this is a technical amendment regarding Senate Bill 50. The bill sponsor has reviewed the amendment, is in agreement, and basically what this amendment does, what we're trying to do with this bill is to add freestanding emergency departments to be able to accept babies that are placed there within 72 hours of birth. That this would add freestanding EDs. One of the requirements is that they're open 24 hours a day with the proper personnel. This amendment creates an exception if the freestanding is located in a rural or frontier area that does not have the demand to support 24-hour service. And that's essentially what this amendment does, Mr. Chair.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment 3? Senator Smallwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Amendment L003 is a friendly amendment, and I ask for our colleagues' support on that.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment 3. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment 3 is adopted. Senator Smallwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I renew my motion for the adoption of Senate Bill 50 as amended on second reading.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 50? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of Senate Bill 50. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 50 is adopted. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Motion is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We will rise and report.
Senate will come back to order. Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your committee has met, and we laid over one bill and discussed Senate Bill 50. Mr. Carpenter, will you please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report had on consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof and makes the following recommendation to run. Senate Bill 50 is amended, passed in second read order and grossly placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 20 laid over until 1/23/18 and retaining its place on the calendar.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
Motion before us is the adoption of the report to the Committee of the Whole. Are there any no votes? Seeing none, with the vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 50 is amended, passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 20 laid over until 1/23/18 and retaining its place on the calendar. Consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar. Mr. Carpenter, would you please read all the appointments on the calendar?
Members of the Board of Trustees for Colorado Mesa University for a term expiring December 31st, 2018, Robert Glenn Wilson of Mac, Colorado, Republican and resident of Mesa County, reappointed for terms expiring December 31st, 2021. Raymond Lee Analeonis of Parshall, Colorado, Republican, appointed. Stephanie Louise Motter of Grand Junction, Colorado, Democrat and resident of Mesa County, appointed.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar consisting of members of the Board of Trustees for Colorado Mesa University.
Is there any discussion? The motion is for the adoption of all the governor's appointments listed on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes on any of the appointments on the consent calendar? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the appointments are confirmed. The following persons have been appointed to the Board of Trustees for Colorado Mesa University: Robert Glenn Wilson, Raymond Lee Analeonis, Stephanie Louise Motter. Announcements. Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a reminder of an announcement I made last Friday, which is at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning outside the old Supreme Court chambers. You are cordially invited to a light breakfast sponsored by Christian Home Educators of Colorado.
Senator Baumgardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we did attend the National Western Junior Livestock Auction Friday night, and we did purchase a beef. In fact, President Grantham was the purchaser of that beef, and it was from a young man that is from Meeker, Colorado, who had a crossbred steer, and his name is Caden Franklin. And the money that was taken up and purchased that will go to his further education, and would just like to thank everyone that participated in that. Thank you, Mr. President. And with that, I just wanted my son to know he's always with me.
Announcements. Senator Priola.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Members, this isn't, how do I say this? This isn't personal, but I wanted to come up here and talk to you about something of definite statewide concern. Had a chance to go skiing with my son this Saturday, and I gotta honestly tell you, in my 44 years of skiing, I have never seen such low snowpack. So I'm not talking about legislation, I'm just talking about when we are making budget decisions and when we're thinking about the fire season that is going to come up and how much water we may or may have to continue to take from West Slope if they have any left. I know we had some snow this Sunday after I was up there, but I'm telling you, the snowpack looked like end of October, beginning of November, not end of January. So just want to bring that to our attention.
Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I want to remind you that this evening is the Tourism Industry Association of Colorado. It's their reception, and it is going to be held at the Brown Palace Hotel from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We hope to see you there.
Senator Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning. There's another reception as well, 5:30 to 7:30 tonight at the Art Hotel, featuring the Colorado Society of Radiologists. Please come if you can, along with all the other engagements.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. Happy Monday. Before you go to any of the other receptions, there's one that starts at 4:30, and it's a welcome back for women legislators, but of course, gentlemen, you are also welcome. And you received, I think, an invitation from former Majority Leader Amy Stevens. It is at the Blueprint Strategies at 837 Sherman, starting at 4:30, and then you can hop right on over to the Brown Palace, and then you can go to the Art Hotel. You can make an evening of collegiality with all of the fellow legislators. Thank you.
Senator Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. President. The JBC will be working to continue our work on supplementals this afternoon starting at 1:30. But I would like to say I take great offense to the implication that the 17-18 budget that we are currently implementing has anything to do with the low snowfall. It's not our fault.
Any other pulpit pounding announcements?
That's it.
Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues in finance, we will have another bill added to the agenda that's not, you may not see on your calendar. It'll be Senate Bill 33, animal feeding. So come hungry. That's tomorrow in finance.
Mr. Carpenter, would you please add Senator Scott to the roll? He got here just in the nick of time. Is that a long walk from Grand Junction? Was it a long walk from Grand Junction? Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, your attention, there is a bill in the House, House Bill 1116, that is regarding federal grant applications for rural broadband. It was brought to my attention this morning that if this bill were to pass, it needs to reach the governor's desk by Monday, the 29th, 1 week from today. Assuming passage in the House, we expect that bill to be here in the Senate on Wednesday. I do not know yet the committee assignment for that bill, assuming that it gets here, but this will be a bill that, if it passes, committee will be on something of a fast track. Please consider the possibility of second reading either Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. I do not know which, but our objective would be, if the bill passes the House and comes to us and passes committee, that we would try to reach third reading by Friday. Do you have an announcement? Do you have an announcement? Okay, because I'm going to recess. If you need to get in here, that's okay. Mr. President, with that, what's that? Good bill. Okay. No advocacy from the mic. Mr. President, we will have bills to read over later today. You do not need to be here, members, but we will recess until 11:30 a.m. today. Mr. President, I move the Senate stand at recess until 11:30 a.m. today.
The motion is to recess until 11:30 a.m. today. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we will recess until 11:30 a.m. today.